All right, come on in. We're here at the Bahrain National Museum. We're here to celebrate Juan Garaizabal. We're looking at some of the works on paper and small sculptures that he's created for his exhibition. Later, we're going to show you the sculptures, monumental sculptures that are installed outside. So Juan, how does it feel?
Well, I feel extremely grateful, David. I mean, you had this wonderful idea, and it worked all for the best with RAC Art Foundation. You also had the idea that I could bring some sketches of what we're going to see.
Yep.
And made me really work individually on each of them, trying to reflect the feeling that inspired them, the feeling that inspired the sculptures that recover the energy of Dilmun, which are basically two,
Yep.
mixed with other different sculptures that somehow recover the memory of other places that are extraordinary.
Tell me something more about this work here, the Door of Dilmun.
That is a reference to the civilization that happened in the place we are, because the Dilmun was a crossroads. So mixing a little bit my experience with different cities and also the magic of this Arabic architecture that crosses and everything. I just draw like a very crazy lines in the air.
Yeah.
And that's what we are seeing, and that's what we're going to see. What we're going to see outside.
I can't wait to see the big sculpture. It's really incredible.
And but you can feel that there how this place is at the end of the day a mix between East, West, Asia, Africa, Europe. Everything like comes together here.
It's a connection.
It's like a connection, and that's what Dilmun was.
Yeah.
Therefore, I thought on these like cross stairs and also the fact of ascending.
Yeah.
Because we're in a very dynamic place.
Yeah.
So we come from a great memory, but we have a great future here.
Yeah.
So that's also another ascendant piece, the stair that could be anywhere, but is now adapted for here, like in the middle of this very clean space.
So this is the work on paper that, you know,
that's the first sketch, all the sketches.
This sculpture.
All the little sculptures are devoted to create themselves also a feeling and independently for the big piece, because they are studies.
Yep.
But help finally to create the big piece. For example, that is that here is the chateau, the Palais de Tuileries, and you can see how this element that is the top of the roof with the base of a window and with that clock that turns against time counterclockwise, it defines one of the sculptures that we are also going to see.
Fantastic. So Juan, just on this piece here, where did you get the inspiration to make the piece? Of course, you know, you saw it at the Palais, but what triggered you to create a sculpture?
At the beginning of everything, there is a story that is extraordinary. And I really believe that what is extraordinary remains forever on a place. So this Palais was the history of France itself. It hosted like most of the big happenings from Louis XVI, Louis XVI, that was taken from there to the guillotine, to Napoleon III, and then disappeared.
Right.
And that element, there are pictures that you can see from the end of the 19th century. So that energy remains there. And I did a show in the Place du Louvre, replacing some of the elements at its original place.
So you looked at the history, you looked at the architecture, and you recreated the memories from there.
That's the point.
All right. So, obviously fantastic piece of, European history. Tell us a little bit more about, the sculpture here that's suspended, which, brings us back to the Dilmun civilization. What was your inspiration here, and does it tie in with the work that we saw earlier?
In terms of story, I just told you that I love the grandeur and the extraordinary. In terms of technique, sculpturally, I like the unpredictable. I like things that haven't been done. And in the particular case of this Dilmun cross of stairs, I like that it is suspended. It is is a drawing in the air. And I really like to teach everyone in my studio how to see what means a drawing in the air, what means to transmit your energy with very few lines, creating the impression of a whole world, of a whole story, and then from there, wanting to know more. So I obviously, like you, because we have been extremely interested on this culture that we are living here, we all want to be part of it. We all want to know more, and those are ways to get more interest, to awake in people more interest for their own story, in us for their story, and to create a debate.
No, it's incredible. So this brings me to, which I think is one of the most, incredible sculptures here included in this exhibition. This work is just incredible, right?
Well, happy that you think so, because you are guilty for that I did this, okay? Right. Because an artist alone is nothing. If you hadn't detected the interest of the Bahrain RAG Foundation to create these commissions on the history here, I would have never investigated on how could the door of Dilmun be. And these are lines of these legendary stories. Absolutely. And the way I understand it, and the mix of arches from Western and Eastern, and also that way of being a gate. I love the phenomenon of a gate, and because it allows you to go to other sceneries. And that's a lot of what I want to represent with that gate that actually is placed facing the sea, this blue sea that we have here, that is such a beautiful magic.
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
Absolutely. So this is
these are
one
more
other
sketches.
Example, of course, of the local inspiration here in Bahrain.
It goes out of a rock. I love also to use materials that, we work everything, as you know, the studio. So it's all produced with hands. And it's all produced using materials that are not extremely sophisticated. They are more like basic steel rocks that we take from the places where we have studios, and then sketches that are both on paper and both with those materials. But I like to say that nothing goes to waste from my studio.
Amazing.
I want to do works, and works that remain in institutions. So that's also and in that mission, obviously, to have this type of relationship that you and me have is key. Because you also do a very different thing that is necessary, which is to make possible that I am requested things in places where I can give value.
But you still work the magic, huh? Voila. Come on in. Come see it. Come see it. Look at this, Juan. Okay. All right, Juan. Come on in. Let's go in.
The door.
Come on in. Come on in.
Let's cross the door, finally.
We did it.
We did it.
How does it feel?
Today is like a dream. I mean, aesthetic, I believe in this, okay? For an artist, there's not that many possibilities to express exactly what they want to express and I think that recovering this type of size of a real size of what had been this Dilmun door of this civilization with this very clean place. I think the whole team worked for best.
Very good.
I think that technically what we did is...
Let's go for a walk.
Yes. So this is like the entrance of a sort of city also with this avenue.
I feel like I'm a little bit in Paris right now.
A little bit in Paris or in any type of classical avenue that you can see on both sides different elements. This was the Tuileries that are a normal size, real one-on-one size.
Yeah.
That can also host vegetables inside. I love the fact that nature finally many times recovers the architecture.
Oh,
so what you see is also vases that have some vegetation already, but the plants can really climb
so
from the inside.
This is hollow and basically, things can grow.
Yeah, and it had also plants inside.
Oh, fantastic.
At one point. So these are also, and I also like the mix with the Dilmun and the French, and I mean all the places have extraordinary.
Fantastic experience. Shall we walk down the avenue?
Yeah. So here we can see a piece that is called Ouverture vers le ciel, open towards sky, recreates a stair that climbs to somewhere, and this somewhere here is so magic, no? I mean, this concert hall, this place, I think it's a fantastic place for sculpture.
It is. And what a gorgeous day it is, the sun is setting and it's a warm day. Couldn't be better. All right, so this is now, the large land of Dilmun.
This is the large
monumental sculpture.
Yeah.
I mean, look, also, how tall is this one?
Well, to be honest, it's between, I mean, I don't know exactly the size because every time we did it higher and higher, but let me calculate it. I mean, it should be close to 7.5.
7.5 meters.
But maybe, yeah. I mean, originally it was 6, but then we have incorporated some more pieces.
Yeah.
And also, I love the perspective and to be able to see some skyscrapers around.
Yeah, which obviously we see over there.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
This is the
high rises here in Bahrain.
Beautiful. This here is an interactive piece.
Yes.
So come with me and
let's sit down.
So I like the people really living the sculptures, not only watching them, but also being part of them, taking a tea, watching around, and also making the place a living monument.
Yep.
I think it's also going to open the debate on what art can do for a place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. this feels very special.
Well,
I interact with the sculpture and.
I mean, it's something that I discovered when I started working in the 90s in Berlin. I'm part of this generation of artists that we made out of the city like an open-air gallery.
Yep.
And it worked for a lot of people. It wasn't just us, 10,000 people, crazy people. It was more like literally a big portion of the population that were crossing the streets and watching what was the new thing. So, and that gets a particular involvement and a particular way of relating one people to the other, no? Because it's very open, it's very casual, it's very, and it creates changes in.
So Juan, sitting around a table opens up time for reflection. You've shown around the world. You've shown from places in Miami where you had a monumental sculpture, have had a balcony next to the Perez Museum of Art. You've shown in China, in Shanghai. You've participated in biennales over there with monumental sculpture. Now you're in Bahrain, and we have this fantastic exhibition here. Tell us how this is different, how it's relates to the other projects you've done around the world?
This is very relate with everything because I think this point is crucial nowadays. There's a lot of things happening here and there's a lot of energies coming from all over the world. It's a privilege to be part of that. You and me now are part of that. We are interacting with the art scene here. And I think that all of the other places that you mentioned, plus many others, are just very good learning experiences. I mean, it's a cumulative thing.
Yep.
Each place locally
brings something new.
But the idea of the world being a place where ideas enrich one from the other, and people more and more want to know what's going on in other places, I simply love it.
Yep.
And I simply, it's my life. I really couldn't think on any bigger pleasure than that.
It's fantastic, fantastic. Well, it makes one wonder what's going to be next for you. So I'm sure it's going to be fantastic.
For us.
Shall we, absolutely. Shall we continue?
Yeah.
All right, so this is the Palais de Tuileries.
La tour centrale, l'horloge.
Yeah.
So as we saw at the sketch, this is a fragment of the top of a window.
Yeah.
There is also, if you see, there is the roof, a portion, and there is the whole clock that they are going to turn it on now, and it's going to turn counterclockwise. So you can also read a little bit of what was the inscription there, because it's a fragment of République Française.
Yeah.
That was the final announcement. I think that I think that there is a lot of what's happening here that also come from the fact that His Excellency Sheikh Rashid Al Khalifa, he's an artist himself.
Yep.
He's a good artist. And that adds a lot of preliminary vision to what we could add here.
Yes.
I really feel that it's a chain. And obviously the origin of that chain many times is decisive to the final result. No?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's you know, through his ideas and vision that we were able to execute this terrific exhibition.
And then there is this. I'm going to show you last but not least these two pieces there that are also, one is interactive.
Let's go.
So this is a fragment of a roof of Château de Nancy or Loire River in France. So also I like the fact of this quick sketch in the air, where people can also
participate.
They can also participate, and they can also have another type of perspective. And
should I go stand there?
Yeah, sure.
For the remainder. But yes, this is pretty exciting to have a conversation like this.
I mean, it's like living in the middle of a decomposing structure that creates other perspectives.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
Then there is another fragment of. There is a fragment here of a sculpture that was also in Place du Louvre, that is called Le Cheval de Marly, because it's a fragment of a very big sculpture, Baroque sculpture, very complex. And I like to pick up just a fragment. Sometimes when you have many elements, just focusing on a small element, you can get much more meaning because otherwise you get a little bit over informed. There is also a piece that we will record later, which is the clock that comes from the Grand Central Station.
The Penn Station clock. So
that will be nicer.
New York incorporated into the show as well.
These 4 phases of the clock that will move counterclockwise but at different rhythms is also a very nice access to the show, because it will somehow start telling you that the time doesn't exist.
Right.
This I had also forgotten the salon, which is this piece that represents a space where that's a fragment of the Salon des Maréchaux au Palais de Tuileries.
Yeah.
And I like this blown glass that is like suspended in the air. It's a very quick drawing done, and that creates a space, no? With very few lines, you can just create a different space.
Listen, it's incredible, you know? Steel is your paintbrush.
Steel is a very good paintbrush because it's recyclable, allows you to mix very well, it's lines in the air, and also I love it because we do it ourselves. It's not something that I have to give someone to produce it, but I like to be there when the sculptures are done.
This is incredible, Juan. Thank you, and congrats. Well done.
Thank you very much,
done.
David.